Welcome to the Scalpel of Truth, the podcast providing cutting insight on how to rise to the top in the medical aesthetics industry with your host, Leisa Krause, aka the Bitch and Beautician. That's Leisa with an E, which stands for explicit, because in this surgical suite, she won't sugarcoat the truth, and yes, there will be some seriously salty language, not suitable for sensitive souls, children, nor pets. As a business consultant, Leisa shares the knowledge and lessons she's gleaned over 30 years in the industry. Time spent working directly with patients, managers, and med spa owners alike. Her practice growth strategies are sharp, her stories and wit sharper, and her panache for bringing the spice the sharpest. So buckle up, bichachos. Leisa is about to slice and dice another episode of The Scalpel of Truth.
Welcome back to another episode of The Scalpel of Truth. I'm your host, Leisa, aka the Bitch and Beautician, and on this podcast, I cut through the bullshit and get to the raw, unfiltered truth about running a med spa. Today's topic, the silent assassin that's killing your medical aesthetic practice from the inside out. That's toxic management. Here's the legal part I need to read. This podcast is presented solely for educational entertainment purposes. Guys, I'm just your beauty business bitch. I'm not a licensed therapist or an HR representative, nor am I a lawyer. This platform's used to share my experiences with what's made me a successful service provider, a manager, and a business consultant for those who I coach. Got it? Beautiful. Let's be real. The success of your med spa doesn't just depend on your services, your products, and even your brand. It honestly is the people, and typically, it's those who are running the show. So the managers, sometimes known as team leads, the ones that you trust to keep the wheels turning. They can make or break your business. So what happens when the person that you've put in charge turns out to be a fucking fraud? Okay? Someone who's not just lazy, but actively poisoning the well, all while you're none the wiser. Today, we're diving in deeply, okay, to toxic traits of bad managers, how they're going to wreck your clinic's culture, drain your profitability, and crush the motivation of your team. If you think your clinic's immune, I'ma have you think again. This silent assassin could already be at work, and you need to know how to spot the signs before it's too late. All right, let's break down the key identifiers of a toxic manager or team lead in the med spa world. First off, we've got the egomaniac, okay? These managers typically come off as knowing everything, strutting around like they freaking own the place. But let's be honest, they're totally full of shit. They've also sold themselves as a leader, but they don't know jack about the business. They're not into it. They're not into improving your clinic, helping the team. They're there to stroke their own egos. This creates a culture of intimidation and fear, where your team members are too scared or feel too small to speak up. This is horrifying, okay? And when your staff is scared, they're not motivated, okay? They're just going through the motions, and that kills productivity and creativity, actually. This ends up being someone who just likes to be the boss and boss people around. They're great at telling people what to do, but they don't actually take any accountability for what they're supposed to be doing. Okay, so the first off is our egomaniac. The next one, and this is a popular one, that is the lazy service provider. These are so-called leaders who think that they've earned a cushy desk job because they've been around the longest or they've talked a good game. They're usually the service provider or clinician or laser technician, medical SD that's been with the company for a long time, but they're not seeing patients anymore. They're not generating you any revenue, but they are still collecting commissions and spending their days pretending to be organized or handling their really busy administrative time. Let's call that admin time. Let's actually call it what it is, and it's total horseshit. They're fucking lazy, and they're bleeding your business dry. So when managers get paid for doing nothing, it sends a message to the entire team that mediocrity is acceptable. Closely related to our lazy service provider or clinician / laser tech, injector, whatever. Closely related to that is the commission chaser. This is the manager who has basically figured out how to game the system. They're not bringing in patients, so they're not doing anything directly contributing to the bottom line, but they're still collecting and ranking in group commission. How? It's by padding their schedules with this glorious admin time. Yes, I understand about admin time. I was a manager too. I had admin time, but patients come first. They are assessing tasks that really need to be done. All these tasks that they do assign themselves typically don't require patient interaction, but somehow they justify this fat paycheck that includes a commission, even when they're barely seeing patients. This isn't just lazy, guys. This is theft, okay? It's taking money from the business and there's work that's not being done. It's demoralizing as hell for your other employees who see this shit and start wondering, okay, well, why should I bother working harder if my manager's getting away with doing nothing? What that looks like is if you've got a manager that can take patients but passes the patients off all the time to other laser technicians and typically I'm going to use laser technicians because this is the most I see this. Somebody, let's call her Allison, is our manager, and she's just got so much admin time, she can't possibly see laser patients. What she does do is when there's a patient in for, injectables and she's assisting the derm or, the nurse, she's there holding the gauze, right? She's not seeing patients, but she's, trying to make herself look useful. When it comes to commission, there's group commission and all the laser techs split a 3, 5, 10, what have you, % of what's coming in. But the other couple of laser techs have been working their bags off, bringing in all the money. And we've got old Allison, little Allie there, Allie Cat, who is holding fucking gauze and dancing around being super important that she's got to go and have that meeting with the social media team. And she's got to do, straightening of some papers. And she's got to dust the potato chip crumbs off her fucking scrub shirt. And she's got, guys, I'm getting wound up. Now. She literally, it's like, I'm so busy. I have to put down this paperclip, but I'll call you right back. Are you kidding? And I've seen so much of these chart dodgers, honestly. And it's like, I'm really busy. I've got to do, next to nothing. So could you go ahead and take this patient? I will tell you what, I've worked with an individual like this. And I've seen this individual in clinics that I work with. I tolerate none of this. They should not be getting a commission or sharing commission with a team that they are not equally yoked and bringing in that same group opportunity. Okay, so I want you to revise what your commission structure is. If you have got a manager who is super busy doing all of this ridiculous admin work that they can't see patients and they're still getting a commission, it is poisoning the well. And honestly, you're going to need a detox on this team of yours. Honestly, and another thing I can say about that is when mediocrity is the standard, your clinic's going to suffer. Your revenues are going to flatline. Your customer service, patient experience, all of it goes to hell in a handbasket. And your best employees are going to start looking for the exit strategy. Seriously, I need a fire extinguisher to put me out. I was aflame there. And the reason is I'm so passionate about this, guys. Honestly, it gets me next level, right to my bone. Okay. Let's talk about the fake leader. That's going to be your manager who talks a big game about leadership, but has zero follow through. They don't support the team. They delegate everything and then take credit for other people's work. They're great at looking busy, but when you dig a little deeper, there's actually no substance. They've been placed in this role typically because they've sold themselves, again, as a leader, but they're not leading. They're actually hiding from work. They've got a manager's office at the back, and every time you go to talk to them, they're busy visiting with other people. They're busy doing literally anything other than their management roles. This type of manager is dangerous because they're creating that toxic environment, again, where accountability is going out the window. No one is held accountable. Nothing is getting done in your clinic, and your clinic standards are going to plummet. And obviously, your patients are absolutely going to feel this, which directly affects your bottom line. Okay, so I want you to look at your managers. Make sure, of course, your manager is typically doing performance reviews with your team. Who's doing performance reviews with the manager? Who is seeing what they're doing on the day-to-day that should be leading to generating revenue for you. Let's look over the impact on the business profitability. Okay, so we're talking about how this toxic bullshit's going to affect your bottom line. Number one, it's going to decrease your productivity. We've already touched on this. A lazy manager, like laziness trickles down. The team then sees, oh, we can coast. The standards here are low. And they stop giving a shit altogether. Productivity nosedives because nobody feels motivated to go the extra mile. Why should they? The person in charge is getting away with doing fuck tweet. Again, high turnover. Good employees are not sticking around in a toxic environment led by a lazy ass manager or somebody who's egotistical, somebody who's not invested in the team or the business. They're going to see the writing on the wall and they're going to get the hell out. And a lot of them will message me and tell me the stories and I'll give them advice to get the hell out. Okay? They're going to leave you with that dead weight. The ones who are constantly collecting a paycheck without contributing. Your revenue generating business builders are going to be finding somewhere else to build the business. Okay? High turnover doesn't only disrupt your business, it costs you a fortune in recruiting and hiring and training new staff. Once again, it brings it back to the patient. They see new faces at your clinic all the time. They know there's a management problem. And that could be with the manager or it could be an ownership problem. You're just as guilty if you're an owner doing this stuff. And then patient dissatisfaction. When your team's unmotivated and poorly managed, your patients, not only do they feel it, they're going to start noticing that quality of care is slipping. Because of course, everybody's taking their foot off the gas because the leader's doing jack all, right? And then your energy of your clinic's going to be off, right? People are really into what the vibe is at the clinic, okay? And they're eventually going to take their business elsewhere. And losing patients is losing money. Plain and simple. It doesn't get more simple than that. Then there's stagnant growth. Your toxic manager is going to stifle innovation. They're too busy covering their own ass to think about how they're going to grow your business. Then when your leadership isn't focused on driving your business forward, your med spa is going to become stagnant. You're not expanding your services. You're not attracting new patients, and you're certainly not maximizing your revenue potential. That's for damn sure. What's the solution? Okay. The solution here, because you know I love to just get on here and bitch. So what's the solution? The solution is that you need to inspect what you expect as an owner. Okay. So you don't just take your manager's word for it. You dig into the numbers. You talk to your team. You do one-on-ones with your team and you make it a safe environment for them to tell you the truth and not worry about getting fired. And for God's sakes, don't have your fucking manager in the same meeting with the staff that needs to report to you about the manager. Please don't be a dillhole in this arena. You got to be smarter than that. If you're paying someone top dollar, they better be delivering top results. If they're not, it's time to either whip them into shape or cut them loose. So if you've got a manager that can do laser treatments some of the time, make sure that they're still generating revenue for you and structure their day. Have certain days that they do admin, certain hours of the day that they do administration tasks. Otherwise, if they're not going to see patients, pay them a salary and just know that they're going to be a cost center for your business. And that is going to be costly, I'll tell you that. You don't have the luxury of trusting blindly. Not when your business is on the line and your profits are on the line. So those performance reviews, back to those should be done regularly and they should be motivating, but also no pussyfooting around, no tiptoeing around the old bullshit meter. Measure everything: revenue generated, patient satisfaction, team morale, SWOT analysis. If your manager isn't making the grade, you need to make a change and you need to make it fast. And a lot of these managers are going to look like they're going to sell you that you're doing well. Don't need to worry about it. I'm going to take this off your plate for you. And they look busy. But who you need to check in with is the rest of your team. And you need to listen. And if you need help with this, reach out to me. Honestly, the toxic management is silently killing your business. The good news, okay, let me share some good news with you. You're in control. You have the power to root out the poison, set high standards, and ensure everyone in your clinic, especially your manager, is earning their keep. Remember, your med spa is only as strong as the people you have in it and the people you have running it. So don't let lazy, ego-driven managers drag your business down. You need to inspect what you expect, hold people accountable, and don't be afraid to make tough, data-driven decisions. because at the end of the day, your success depends on it. So if you need some consulting and coaching in this area, for the love of Disport, reach out to me and set up a discovery call so that I can see how I can help support your practice. I'm also calling on those people that are people pleasers in roles of management or in roles of ownership. The people that just feel like, oh, I can't fire this person, or they don't like confrontation. If you don't like confrontation, you're going to have to find somebody who's going to do that for you then, if you can't do it yourself. But don't sit around being a sad fuck over it. You got to do something about it. Hell, I'll even fire the person for you. Okay? If you need me to, I'm there to support you. You have invested everything in this business and in this industry, and you're giving it your all. Do not let a toxic manager take you down like the Titanic. If you are someone listening to this podcast and you are a team member and your owner does not know what's going on with your manager, I've had people reach out to me for this as well. I don't know what to do. The manager is toxic. The owner doesn't know. His head's in the sand. How am I going to do this with still keeping my job? Have them listen to this podcast. Say, you know what? I was listening to something interesting I think that you should listen to. You say, hey, I need to share something with you that's really important to the bottom line of your business, and it is affecting the morale on the team. I need to be able to trust you as the owner or as a leader that I can share this with you and my concerns will be protected. If you're in a situation you don't know how to handle it, DM me on social or reach out and we'll do a discovery call. Reach out through the website. I am here to help you. And the reason that I get so bitchy about this and I'm so passionate about it is because I eat, sleep, and breathe this industry. And there's so much bullshit going on in our industry that is not talked about, that is swept under the rug, that we need to address, okay? So I am here for you. Thank you for tuning in. I love you. I want the best for you. I want you to remember, until next time, you want to keep those standards high, keep motivated, and keep your business thriving. Stay focused, stay fabulous, and I can't wait to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.
Don't want to wait to see things stay the way they are.